Hi all. I had a weight loss session about an hour ago with a woman who's come back for the second time. The first time was about 3-4 years ago. She lost about 70 pounds, was excited about the program, had lost the weight from personal issues with food as well as 2 pregnancies. She now came back again because after about this period of time, she's put back about 30 pounds. And I said to her, "Why are you here?" And she said, "The program has worked wonderfully for me. I realize I can lose the weight rapidly, and I felt good doing it, so I'm back." She went on the program, and she came in today. So this was her first weigh-in. And she got on the scale, and she had lost 4 pounds. And I said to her, "How do you feel?" She said, "I would have felt much better, but between my daughter and my husband, I wasn't perfect." I said, "See if you can be a little more specific." She said, "Well, I was making peanut butter and jelly for my daughter this morning, which is what she wanted for lunch at school. And I was incredibly tempted. And it bothered me for at least an hour after she left for school. And I didn't break down because I knew I was coming to see you." And, well, last night, this is not the first time, but my husband said to me, "Let's go out to eat with the kids. We'll eat light." It was after 6 o'clock. I was on a milk day. And I said no. And when they left, I had a little something. "Why did you have a little something?" "I was angry. I was very angry." "And what were you angry about?" She said, "That's the point. I don't understand why I was angry. Because when I walked in today, the only thing that bothered me is when I got on the scale, I had only lost 4 pounds, and I knew as I got off the scale that I had been more focused on the program, I would have lost more." I said, "Terrific. Now we're getting to the core of everything and what I want to talk with you people about as well. We as adults choose to lose weight. That's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a choice that you make. You've chosen AccuWeight, and I'm hoping it's because you realize that when I promise 15 pounds every 30 days in total health and only fat, I couldn't stay in business unless I gave you what I promised. Now, it's going to take you X amount of time to lose the weight. And we're losing the weight because you want to lose the weight. Now come the psychological issues. And here is where the rubber meets the road. Do you want to lose the weight and accept the fact that you have to do certain things? Or are you going to allow all of the psychological pressures that you deal with to override and create conflict. I invented the magic protocol to sidestep, to go around all of those psychological issues, but one which I'll get to before we end. Now, I feel, and I feel that you feel terrific when you lose the weight. And I believe that you have guilt and remorse and feelings such as that when you are not scrupulous and stick with the program. And one last thing. You cannot both say no and be successful. And here I'll prove it to you. Those of you who have children, how many mommy please, daddy please, mommy please, daddy please, before you compromise and break down? So you've said no, but you've compromised and broke down. Now, in Major League Baseball, a batter who hits 300 is worth 7 figures. He makes out 7 out of 10 times. You break down with your children. If you break down 7 out of 10 times with the program, we're not getting very far. So it's either we say no, or we break down, or we use a behavioral methodology that I'm going to share with you again that will make it impossible, even if you weaken, to cheat. Step number 1. I want you, when you recognize it, to verbally, so it's in the real world, say to the child who lives within you, call that child by name if you wish, sweetheart, we are thinking of cheating. That takes it out of your head, puts it right here in front of you. Difficult to ignore now. You're thinking of cheating. Step number 2. For 2 reasons that I'm going to share with you, I want you to do 3 Qigong breaths. Reason number 1, it stops you, it centers you, it relaxes you. Reason number 2, you, the adult, have told you, the person, to do the Qigong. That's why you're doing it. There are a million reasons not to. I haven't got time, it's too much, but if you order it, it gets done. And so you, by doing the Qigong, recognize that you have the power. Now, step 3, take out a sugarless candy. This candy is not nearly as good as that cheat of which you're thinking about. You'll only be satisfied for a few moments if you do the cheat. But if you put this candy in your mouth, it'll stop you. Now here's the key. Take this candy now and put it in your mouth. The moment you swish it around, and here's the key, you've given up your power. You could stand on your head and you will not be able to cheat. You could stand on your head and you could not cheat. But here's the thing. Many of you don't do it because unconsciously there's a resistance to giving up your power. So let me point out to you that at the exact same moment you put the candy in your mouth, you give up your power. What you get is the inability to put anything else in your mouth, which is what you really wanted. So you did this to get the power back. One last piece. The child within you is only 5 years old. That child knows nothing about consequences. It wants what it wants when it wants it, and it wants it now. And the moment you give in, it's over. The child goes through the process of I want what I want when I want it to zero at the instant you give in to what it wants. And you're the one left with the residual. The guilt, the remorse. Now, what do you want? Do you want that feeling when you've reached your goal? Do the magic protocol. Admit, breathe, substitute, and take your power back. Thanks for listening.